Happy Sunday. Welcome to my very first live here on YouTube. I recently hosted a 30-day self-care moments challenge over on Instagram where I went live every single morning and we shared a self-care moment together. Simple moments, something that would take you 30 seconds to 2 minutes, and then we chatted about real life. I liked it so much that I decided I want to continue passing on. Oh, thank you. Good morning, Ryan. Thank you so much. Have a good workout. I wanted to continue passing on knowledge and spending more time just one-on-one and live with people. And so here we are. Today, on today's live, I want to share a self-care moment with you. I'm also going to teach you a self-care ritual that I do on the weekends. It helps me make sure that I am living in line with my values and I don't get too wrapped up in the hustle and bustle of the work life. So just life can get so busy. And so if we don't take time to reflect, sometimes we can have a year slip by and we're like, where did the time pass? And this activity will help you make sure you know where your time goes and you're living the life that you're proud of. So right now, I just lit my scented candle. I chose cashmere cedar because it's the sun is trying to come out, but it's still a little gloomy. We had a snowstorm this weekend. It's April 2nd. So I guess we could still possibly get snow, but I'm over it. And I just kind of want a little bit more cozy comfort. Usually I'm all about citrus by this time, but today it's cashmere. So I invite you to light a scented candle, sit somewhere comfy. I'm going to read you a self-care card. And this is an encouragement, from our encouragement pack. And it just gives you permission to practice self-care and encourages you to take the time every day. So our card today says, slow down, everything can wait, which is perfect for a Sunday because on Sundays, we should slow down. Sundays should be soothing. It should not be about running around, getting groceries, doing all the laundry, trying to prepare for the week. That should happen if you have to do that. That should happen on Saturdays. Sundays should be slow and nurturing for your soul. It truly should be soothing Sundays. And hopefully that card just inspires you to take this moment with me, relax, and we're going to begin. I'm just going to do a self-care moment. It's how I started our 30-day challenge with deep breaths. And the interesting thing about breathing is you can control which part of your brain turns on based on your rate of breath. So if you're breathing fast and shallow, your primal fight, flight, or freeze brain is going to be activated and your heart rate is going to be up. But if you have nice, deep belly breaths, so you're just kind of breathing all the way through your diaphragm into your belly, you hold it for a couple seconds and you exhale, you can regulate your heartbeat so that it slows down and your primal brain turns off. Your frontal lobe turns back on. That's where we make rational decisions. Our executive brain is there, and we don't feel like we have to run away from tigers or the world is crashing. And so we always want to make sure we check in with our breath if you're feeling super anxious, because our breathing controls our heart rate, and our heart rate, the amount of beats per minute, controls which part of our brain is activated and therefore which chemicals are being secreted and how we behave. So when I say take a deep breath, I want you to imagine taking the breath all the way in and through your diaphragm and puffing your stomach out like it's a balloon. And so I'm going to have you do that with me. And then once we get it in there, we're going to hold it for 2 seconds. And then we're going to slowly exhale. And so here we go. And we'll just do it 2 more times. This is a self-care moment. I taught 30 different ideas. over on Instagram this past month, and it was pure joy. I loved it, and I can't wait. I'm actually going to start it back up probably on here, and then I'm going to do it on TikTok as well, and we'll have some giveaways with it. It's a lot of fun. And last one. Breathing just grounds us back into the moment. I mean, it nourishes all our cells. It gets us ready for whatever task we're doing, gives us a break from worrying. It's a very good self-care technique to always have with you, because you always have your breath with you, but it's good to remember deep belly breaths, not just short, shallow ones. Okay, so now that we have our self-care moment out of the way, and again, if you missed the beginning, self-care moments are just 30 seconds to 2 minutes. It's super easy. Everyone has time for it. And the reason why I made the challenge so specific, as like you can do each one of these ideas in real time, immediate, as I tell you the idea, you can do it, is because first I wanted to get better at self-care. I was staring down my 42nd birthday and thought I would have a better handle on work-life balance and really just taking care of myself in general by 42. I do now, but before the challenge, I did not. And then also everyone I talk to, like in our community, because we obviously make beautiful hand-poured candles, and I'll ask them, like, how's your self-care routine? And the majority of them say, I just don't have the time for self-care. And I thought that was a good challenge for me to create something that they couldn't say, I don't have the time. Everyone has 30 seconds, everyone has 2 minutes. And this idea of a self-care moment came to me at the weirdest time. First of all, I never take elevators, but my husband and I are redoing our candle stock room, and because we're going to host local pop-ups. And so I was riding up the elevator in the building, and as I'm riding there, because I usually like to do the stairs, I'm like, oh, I wonder how many bodyweight squats I could do before the elevator doors open. And so I started squatting, and I got 20. And I was like, wait a minute, like a light bulb just went off. If I could do 20 squats from floor 1 to 2, I wonder if I could pair that up with something that I already do, like a habit I already have in my day, and just do squats with that habit. And I could get maybe 100, maybe sometimes 200 squats a day. That would do a lot for my butt. So that's what I started doing. Every time I fill my water jug now, and so this was probably 2 months ago, because after I had that idea, I started collecting different ideas for self-care moments. And then I built this beautiful challenge that was phenomenal. I keep talking about it because we just got finished up with it. And so every time I fill my water bottle, I'm just going to take a drink because my mouth is getting a little bit dry. I do 20 squats, and I've just kept it up. I can feel my butt's better. I feel stronger when I walk. And the reason why, specifically, there's 2 reasons why I wanted to focus on my legs for working out. One, I want to have a nice butt. I don't want to have I don't want to be skinny fat. I want to be firm, and I want to have just nice. I also learned that a big preventer of Alzheimer's and dementia is working out your legs. And so as we age, I mean, all the time, but especially as we age, we should be working out our legs at least 3 times a week. And this will help me with that. So that was just one of the ideas I had, and I started to make a list. I ended up with 52 different ideas that we could nurture ourselves instead of grabbing our phone in 2 minutes or less. And it's a beautiful challenge. If you don't want to wait until I either do it on here or the next round on TikTok, you can find it. It's at Bella Vita Candles on Instagram. And after every self-care moment, then I shared like a teaching tool that I use in my private practice. If you haven't read my bio or you're just meeting me for the first time, I have been a mental health practitioner for 10 years now. I have a private practice here in our community in New Prague. Absolutely love it. And what prompted me to go from a counselor to a candle maker was the pandemic. And once that hit, we shut down my practice, and I learned how to, for a short period of time during the shelter in place, I learned how to sell candles on Instagram. And then it kind of took off. And so now we use this business as a way to give back more to our community and to people all around our country, because we developed, my husband and I say we, because my husband and I he came on full time with me after the second year in business, after the first year in business, so year 2, because we're in the third year now. And he created the Helping People Project. And it's a really cool program where a portion of our sales goes to a separate fund. And then our customers just nominate people, friends, neighbors, cashiers, single moms, anybody that they know needs a little bit of help. They nominate them, and then we take care of whatever they need. So we've donated a lot of money, and it feels really good. So now we are able to use our candles for giving back even more, because when we needed help from people just to buy a candle, they came out of the woodwork, and we wanted to make sure we paid it forward, and that's our Pay It Forward program. So that's kind of how I became a candle maker. But what I did after every self-care moment was I took them through a tool or a teaching mechanism that I teach my clients in my practice. That's where I was going with that story. Okay, I'm going to talk about the thing that I do. Oh, Ryan, you're still on here? I just rambled and circled back, but Ryan just said the moments concept is nice because everyone has moments each day. I know, and I just love that. And the comments we kept getting, or the feedback throughout the challenge, was, I love how this is immediate. And I knew exactly what they meant, because A, you don't have to save up money for it. So it costs $0, except for the last final day. I said we need to treat ourselves. We've been taking time for 30 consecutive days to nourish ourselves. We need to give ourselves a treat. And so that could have been a candy bar, a cup of coffee. I encourage them, obviously, buy a scented candle or a fresh bouquet of flowers, just something for yourself to say, that a girl, you did it. But other than that, it was free, it was immediate, and you could do it at any time, anywhere you were. The thing that I like to do, now I want to teach you a self-care ritual. I usually do this on Saturday mornings. I get up, I get my coffee, and I light my scented candle. I just sit there for a little bit and just kind of ground myself, either with breath work, or I just list off the things that I'm grateful for, do a little journaling, and then I reflect on the week prior and where I spent my time. And I like to do this each week so that I don't get too far off track living the life that I want and that's aligned with my values. And I like to use a thing called, I like to call it the 5 things closest to my heart, but really that's not a descriptive term, because now I'm going to teach it. It is really your non-negotiables to living your best life daily. And so what I mean is we typically have 5 things in a perfect day that we need to be present in order to lay our heads down on our pillows and say, it was a good freaking day. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll give you examples. But just imagine you have just got done living one of your best days. This is not a vacation day. This is a normal, everyday thing. So you're just living your day, and you went to work, you dropped your kids off at school, you've done everything normal. It's a typical day, and you lay your head down at night and you're like, that was such a good day. What had to be present for you to say that? And I'm going to share with you my 5 things. The first thing is my quiet mornings. I have to have time in the morning by myself. No one needs anything. There's no movement in the house. Even though my kids are teenagers now and my husband is extremely self-sufficient and he would rather me not do things sometimes for him because I'm too helpful. I love to not have anybody awake. And so my mornings are precious. So if I have a nice quiet morning, and even if it's 5 minutes, Just that first cup of coffee with my scented candle, I'm good, but I would prefer an hour. And then I need movement. So I need mornings, movement, quality time with my family. Even if it is 15 minutes, I need to have just one-on-one time, family time. I need quality time. I need romance. So I need to be flirting with my husband, just feeling alive. And I don't know, I love romance. So the romance movies, I live it every day because I need it. Like, I'm that type of girl. And then I need fun. So if we're going through a drought, like if it's seasonal stuff, I have a lot of heavy stuff at my work. So my private practice, like the caseload is really heavy. Maybe we have some family drama, hormonal teenagers. If it is just a crappy like week or even 3 weeks, I'm not doing good because my bucket or my non-negotiable of fun is not being met. So on Saturday morning, I'm going to bring you back. So I'm sitting here with my coffee and my candle, and I'm thinking back on the week where I put my time. I'm looking at my 5 non-negotiables to living my best life daily. And if it's like been a really good week, then I just repeat it. But I look at it, and if I feel like it's low, like I feel like I don't have as much pep, or I don't feel as joyful as I normally should, then I look at those 5 areas and I figure out which one didn't get enough time. Where did I not put enough attention? And the week going forward, I change it. For example, this is going to be different this week. This past week has been perfect. All my buckets, like all my 5 areas, have been met beautifully. This week is going to be a challenge. We have spring break and we're not going anywhere. So we're here and it's going to be very disrupted. So both my husband and I work from home, except for the 2 days that I work at my private practice, Wednesday and Thursday. Those are going to be I think I'm going to happily leave and abandon ship with 2 teenagers squabbling in this very small space. But every morning, we have our routine. My husband and I are very structured, and we both work from home. But now the kids are going to be here, and interrupting that morning is going to be my daughter's track practice. And then they're just going to be in and out of our space all day long. So it's not going to be quality family time. It's more going to be, they're just all up in our business. And I can't wait to kind of at night, kind of push them away. And it's just, I know that and I expect it. And so I'm adjusting my expectations of how I'm going to go through the week. So it's not going to be a productive week. Like this week going ahead, I'm not planning on getting a whole bunch of new things done. I'm not thinking about new projects. I'm basically thinking as much as I can, I'm going to soak up time with them. My romance bucket is probably going to be lower because Ryan and I won't be able to be as flirty or just be us as much because they're going to be right here with us. And then, my mornings are going to be disrupted. So it's going to be an off week. I know that going into it. And so next Saturday, when I sit down and do this ritual again, I will know exactly what to readjust and plan for the following week. So today, I would love for you to go through your day thinking about what would be my 5 non-negotiables? Like, what would be the things that I need daily? And they have different ratios, right? Like fun isn't, 50% of my like non-negotiable pie. Like if it was a pie, it's not 50% of it, but it's a healthy 30. They're not divided equally. But just think about the things that you need in your life to feel like you are living a life aligned with your values, and write those down and just start paying attention. If I live a day and it feels like a really good day, I bet you those things are present. And then if you tweak it and you intentionally live the next day, adding like a 5th thing in there that you would really love or enjoy, I bet you that day is even better. So that's your assignment, is to go through today and just be aware of what's making you feel good take note of it, and then think about like, when I'm living my best day and it's a normal day, non-vacation day, what 5 things are present and how can I make it so that they show up consistently so that I feel more joy daily. I promise you this is a game changer. Like when I teach this for my clients, it's so simple to grasp. And then when you do these weekly check-ins with yourself, you don't wind up waking up a year from now or 5 years from now thinking, where did my time go? Or like, how did I get here? It's an extremely effective tool to use in terms of knowing yourself, knowing your partner, and also once your kids get to a certain age, it's really helpful to know their 5 things. So then if they don't really know what's going on and they're feeling funky, you can kind of run through the checklist in your head and just be like, oh, I know this one really needs quality time and I've been very busy, so I'm pretty sure I'm getting the attitude because we need to go on a date. And then you just take your kid out and get some like coffee, but like their cappuccino mix, or take them for a walk, just do something one-on-one time. Or if you know your other kid, like I have one that loves quality time and one that loves little gifts. So if one's giving me attitude and I know she loves gifts, I would go and make her favorite coffee, or, just get her some hair ties that I know that she likes, or a $5 gift certificate from someplace that she could go and do her own shopping. Just some little surprise, her favorite chips. And I'm sure that would help her come back around. For your partner, same thing. We can get really busy. They can have big projects that they're working on. And if you start to see like, well, I know one of their non-negotiables is like they need alone time. And maybe they haven't had that because it's just chaotic. You got hockey going on. So you have different sports schedules. You're running all over the place, teacher conferences, whatever. And you just know that they haven't gotten alone time. I would push them out the door, push them into their man cave somewhere and just say like, go chill out, go do your thing, whatever they need. It's a really good thing to know yours and your partner's. And then as soon as your kids get old enough, know theirs as well. That's the self-care ritual. I shared the self-care moment. I'm just checking my notes. So what do you want, or what do I want you to know in terms of what you can expect on this channel? First of all, it's only going to get better. This is my very first one here, my very first live stream. And I've been trying to get enough followers without asking for them. And then finally my husband's like, you should just ask your followers on other channels to follow your YouTube account and just get there. And then I did. And all of a sudden here I am. But I have been trying to organically get to the 50 followers so I could go live for a long time. So here we are. What can you expect? A, it's going to get better. It's only going to get better from here. B, I'm going to do video podcasting on here. I believe I have some very helpful information to share. I think it's so fun. I especially love the live feature because I find this is my favorite way to consume content from the people I follow. So people I really look up to, if I see that they're live, I'll drop anything just to spend time with them. I think it's the most fun. They're the most raw and real. And in a world full of AI now, which I'm using it, like I use it to help me create lists and schedules and so many things. And so it's very useful. But I also think in terms of content, live video is going to be so important because you're going to know that this is truly me, because these are the words coming out of my mouth, and we get to connect more. And if we're going to be on devices, we should be working on connections versus just reading something that you don't even know. Like, did a robot come up with this? Or am I looking at a robot image? Or did they take this picture? I don't even know. Ryan says, I'm doing one of my 5 things as I watch you right now, cardio to take care of my body. Yes, so Ryan is a personal trainer, a nutrition expert. He's very knowledgeable. And so right now we're supposed to be working out, but I wanted to do this. And so he's got his workout started. And that is one of his 5 things. He loves moving his body and lifting and making sure he feels strong and taking care of himself. I am surprised you're still on here with me. I keep thinking that I didn't know. I keep thinking that you're off. And and doing your own thing. But so I really am glad that you're doing one of your 5 things. So it's going to get better. We're going to talk about self-care moments. And that is something, that I just happened upon. But one thing that I learned, and I'll probably do a complete other video on this because this is profound to me, that when I started looking for moments in my day that instead of picking up my phone, I would go for my phone and then I would be like, no, this is a moment that I could read 3 pages in my book, or this is a moment that I could do squats or make a cup of tea. You start thinking differently, even if you're only practicing it one or 2 times a day. This challenge showed me that if you focus on self-care moments, 30 seconds to 2 minutes, you actually rewire your entire brain and you start going through your day almost automatically asking yourself, will this make me feel good? So watching the extra episode on Netflix and sitting there instead of going for a walk after dinner, will this make me feel good? No, get up and go for a walk. Having a caffeinated beverage at 3:00, which I used to do constantly. Will this make me feel good? No, 5:00, I'm going to have a headache and then I'm going to toss and turn at 11 p.m. when I'm trying to sleep. Just constantly thinking about things differently. Or after I get done at my private practice, I used to have the habit of coming home and I'd have a big bowl of Cheez-Its, so just processed carbs, and then drink. So just everybody has to have their transition away from work. Some people have a commute and they listen to music and they kind of put away their work day and then come home and they welcome the family life. And I work 2 blocks away. So I get in the car, I come home. And so my transition for years was Cheez-Its and beer. So unhealthy. And even now, I haven't done that in a long time, but even now, sometimes I'll get done with work and it will be such a good work day that I'll have this idea programmed in my head, it was so good, we should celebrate and we should have a drink. And automatically something comes up and says, will this make me feel good? Who the hell are you? And it won't. And so I end up having a sparkling water and pretending it's a White Claw and going to bed. But it makes me feel better. I'm feeling good. I'm starting to see my arms are feeling better. I was getting very insecure about that. Just going into my 42nd birthday, I was noticing all these changes that were unexpected and happening rapidly to my body. And the 30-day challenge of just doing moments rewired my brain. And so I'm going to talk about that. I'll do a complete other video, even though I just dove into it a little bit. It's important. It's important because most people say they don't do self-care because they don't have the time, the money, or they just don't have the motivation, right? Because there's too many temptations. And if you do the moments with me and you buy into this idea, you'll learn that you can do it. It doesn't cost any money and you can do it immediately. But the other thing that people say, the 4th thing is they'll worry about it when they're older. And we have this really terrible mechanism in our brain that tells us it won't happen to us. Bad things will happen to somebody else. And it's not true. We're accumulating cholesterol. We're having plaque build up in our arteries. It's happening right now. There's cells breaking down every day. At any moment, it could just turn over and be cancerous. We have to start now. And so on this channel, we are going to marry self-care, all of my experience from my private practice work, and just being proactive so that I help inspire you to take practical action to your life to live a life that you're proud of, not a life like Groundhog's Day or a life that you feel as if you don't have control, because you do. Everybody has more control than they realize, and I'm going to teach you that on this challenge or on this channel. Channel and challenge, they sound similar. I'm going to teach you it, and you are going to love feeling empowered. And everything I teach, it's just going to be practical, simple stuff. It's the same stuff that I talk about with my clients. It's just practical. It's not, bookish or too much of a theory or philosophy. It's just practical. You can just implement it right away. And obviously, we're also going to talk about candles. I love candles. They provide such comfort, but I'm fascinated with how they change our mood, like based on what they smell like. Our sense of smell linked to our memory system, all of that. Like, we're going to talk about all of it on our channel and how we can use candles to not only add to our self-care routine, but change our mood anytime we want. And I'll at some point I'll make a guide and I'll be like, if you want to feel this feeling, this is your candle. And I will have it all listed out for you because that's how powerful it is. And for right now, obviously we're going into spring, so people are lighting more light and fruity, citrusy scents. But any time of the year, if you're feeling blue, make sure or low, make sure you light anything with citrus. That will boost your mood right away. I think that's it. We did a really good job just running through what you can expect. I'm going to be on here more. I just had to get that first one out of the way because I don't know, it's always nerve-wracking. The firsts are nerve-wracking, and we've been on here for half an hour. So that's pretty good. Thank you, Ryan, for joining me, and I will talk to you soon. Make sure you subscribe and be ready for the next one, which again, will only get better. Happy Sunday.